This video is going to describe chapter 3.6, adding and subtracting unlike fractions. And so unlike the last chapter where we were adding fractions that had a common denominator, we're going to now work on adding and subtracting when they don't. So you'll notice I'm not able to, as I multiplied, I just multiplied across. I'm not able to add across and go 3 plus 1 equals 4, 5 plus 3 equals 8. Then I would get 4 eighths, and I would reduce that to 1/2, but that's not going to be my answer. So what I need to do is figure out a common multiple of 5 and 3. Right? I'm going for the least common multiple. So think about the multiples of 5 would be 5, 10, 15, 20. And for 3 it'd be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on. And the least common is 15. Right? Now one trick is I can just multiply these two together and get that number. Sometimes that's not the least common, but it will give you a common. To get from 5 to 15, I multiplied by 3. So I need to take this top number, I need to multiply that by 3, and I get 3 times 3 is 9. Over here I got from 3 to 15, I multiplied by 5. So I got to take 1 times 5, and I get 5. Keep in mind this is still an addition problem, so that's coming down. 9 plus 5 is 14. And the 15 will remain same, so my final answer is 14/15. Now let's talk about what happens when it's a mixed number. So for example, a problem like this. Now, there are a couple ways to solve it, and one way is to change these to improper fractions, then find the common denominator, and then add, and then you would have to reduce. The disadvantage to doing that way is that you're going to start to get some fairly large numbers. 9 times 6, which is 54, and then you're going to have to add 8. So you're then going to end up with 62 ninths, and then over here you're getting an even larger number that's over 12, and then you got to find a common denominator, which is going to be 36, and you're going to end up multiplying a bunch of numbers. I'm sorry. Right, 36. I don't know why I was stalling there. So you're going to end up with a bunch of large numbers. So the easier thing to do here is to break it apart, the same way we have done in the past. So I'm going to take the whole numbers, which are -6 plus 7, and then I'm going to take the fractions, which is -8 ninths plus 5 twelfths. Now this part is going to be easy, right? Now to get from here, I need to create a common denominator, which, as I told you, was 36. Let's use a different color. So remember, this is negative. So to get from 9 to 36, I multiply by 4. I got to take 8 times 4, which is 32. To get from 12 to 36, I multiply by 3. And you take 5 times 3, and that's 15. It's an addition problem. This is going to be -32/36 plus 15/36. This ends up being -17/36. Now what I need to do is put these two together. So I'm taking this number and this number, remembering that it's negative. I'm actually going to add these two numbers together. So it's 1 plus -17/36 and 1 plus -17/36 is the same as 1 minus 17/36. So this ends up being 19/36. Now if you want, you can try to create improper fractions and it should still work. As long as you do the math right. Your problem is you're going to create a lot of extra and additional math for yourself. So this is probably the fastest, shortest way. Now let's talk about subtraction. 3/8 minus 3/4. Same thing, I cannot just subtract across. So this is not going to come as 3 minus 3 is 0, 8 minus 4 is 4, 0/4, and that would not be the correct answer. So I need to figure out what these have in common. They actually have an 8 in common. So the advantage to using the 8, instead of multiplying the two of them together and getting 32, which also would work, but if I multiply them together and get 32, I'm going to end up with larger numbers I'm going to have to reduce in the end. This is just going to stay the same. It's still going to be 3/8. Still a subtraction problem. To get from 4 to 8, I multiplied by 2. So I'm going to take 3 times 2, and that's 6. I'm going to multiply to get 6/8. Now I got to go 3/8 minus 6/8. Remember the 8 stays on the bottom. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. So my final answer is negative 3/8. All right, and then finally, what happens when we have to subtract mixed numbers? So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Since we're just subtracting, I'm going 9 minus 7, and then I'm going to take 3/5 minus 2/3. And then in the end, I'm going to have to put these two numbers together. So this is going to give me 2. And then over here, what I need to do is find a common denominator. 5 and 3, the common denominator for them is 15. We actually did a problem very similar to this before. 5 times 3 gets me to 15, so I got to multiply 3 to the numerator. I go 3 times 5 to get me 15, so now I got to multiply 5 to the numerator here. I got 9/15 minus 10/15. This is going to give me negative 1/15. Now, remember, I need to put these two numbers together. So it's going to become 2 plus negative 1/15. So my final answer here is going to be 1 and 14/15. Okay, because it's the same as subtracting 2 minus 1/15. All right, so I want you to practice splitting mixed numbers apart and subtracting the whole numbers and then subtracting the fractions. See if that's something that you like, something that you can do. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to do the problems at the bottom of the page, and I'll see you in class.